Good afternoon and welcome to more M.E.E. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're doing the Moff Off! Yeah, Moff Off! Alright, so I have in front of me Moff Tarkin and Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon being from the Mandalorian Disney Plus series, and Moff Tarkin being that guy that controls the Death Star. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, so I think it was really cool. We keep getting like Jedi Masters and stuff, but we don't really get Moffs very often. And I was at Ollie's and came across 2 blister packs for 6-inch figures of the retro vintage style, and they both had some unique Moffs in them, and they weren't too pricey either. I think I paid like 8 for Moff Tarkin, and then like 10 for Moff Gideon. So it wasn't too bad at Ollie's, wasn't too bad at all. But no, I am a lover of the Empire. I think they had some of the coolest outfits. So we're going to be talking about these 2 today because I think it's really cool. We get some Moffs finally, and it's just really neat. So, you know, screw getting a Yoda or something like that. Yeah, bring on the Moffs. So, we'll start off by just discussing the accessories that they come with first, and then we're going to do the Moff Off. And we're going to bring in Vader to help out with the Moff Off because it's Vader. And Vader always needs to help out with things like that. So there's Gideon. We can set him, not Gideon, Tarkin. Tarkin can set up over here, moving his arm in such a way to reveal Darth Vader right there. And let's go ahead and take away Gideon's sword so we can talk about it. And we'll go ahead and take away your cape so we can talk about it. And we can set you over here because that is... Oh, wait, you get a pistol. So we're going to talk about your pistol too. Okay, so we can set you there. Excellent, excellent, yeah. Because Tarkin doesn't get a pistol because Tarkin's, well, he's too good for those things. That was weird. My table just vibrated, as if there was a cat on it, but there are no cats in this room today. Very odd. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about the weapon, the pistol first, because we just get it out of the way. It's in my hand. It's an alright Star Wars pistol. We've got, we got some nice little lines and etching in here. It's got some good molding for a little holdout blaster. It's really weird feeling too, like the barrel's in there, but then there's these little things that cover the barrel. So the barrel's almost as if it's its own little piece of plastic in there, and then there's this other stuff that surrounds the barrel. It's really unique. I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to set the pistol back over here because, you know me and small objects, I don't want to lose them. There we go. Set that pistol in there nicely. There you are. Now, Moff Gideon came with the Darksaber, and this is my first time actually getting a Darksaber, so I could figure out what, here I am thinking that the Darksaber looks exactly like a lightsaber, like it would just be a black-hilted, dark-bladed Jedi lightsaber. So my thinking was I could take the blast effect from it and like put it in Darth Vader's lightsaber or something like that, because I just like, that's kind of neat. Or I could just take the blast effect out and plug it into G.I. Joe guns like I can with Darth Vader's lightsaber. But that's not the case here. That's not the case at all. This blade is more like a, well, for lack of a better term, it feels very similar to something like a bastard sword from, medieval Europe. It's long, and it's double-edged, one edge on each side, and it's a heavier feeling sword. Now, you can pull it out. Oh, cool. I didn't knock you over. You can pull it out, but what you reveal in here is a rectangular peg. And that's why I was like, this doesn't really plug into anything else. There's nothing else that has a rectangular port. I'm looking for Beachhead's gun that he came with for Cobra Island Beachhead, because that had a rectangular port on the front of it, and I've been trying to find that gun to see if I could connect them, but when I find it, I'll let you know if they connect or not. Anyway, it plugs in pretty well, but you can't plug it in the wrong way, or else it's tilted. See how it goes sideways? Like a broken sword. You got to spin it around, and you actually got to throw it in on the top there, so that it's straight up and down. And if you feel on this, there's the blast effect port here is more on one side of the blade than on the other. So you have to remember that cut side of the blade is actually where this hilt pops up just a little bit. So you can plug that back in. Now this sword is about the same length as something like Vader's lightsaber, but it is, instead of rounded, it's flat and rectangular, and it has kind of two blade edges. The hilt itself is pretty good. It's just like a, not a rapier, I guess really similar to a bastard sword hilt, except the guard, which would be splayed out one on each side, instead has one side of the guard facing down to cover the first finger in the hand, and the other side of the guard actually going up to protect the hand from, you know, sliding upwards and getting cut by this blade. So it protects, if the blade were to get pushed back on the hand, that area of the hilt would actually protect the bearer's hand from getting cut by their own blade. So that's really neat. That's kind of cool. Now, there is no place to put this weapon on Moff Gideon, which is a shame. I think it's a shame that we didn't get something like that for Darth Vader either. Even though, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader's pretty cool, he doesn't come with something like that. Now, finally, we come over here to Gideon's, well, cloak. But unlike Obi-Wan Darth Vader, this is not a soft goods cloak, which is a shame. They should have just given us a soft goods cloak. It would have been okay. But instead, we got this rubberized plastic cloak that has a port on it. So, you know, you can take, for instance, I've got Beachhead right here. So let's just do a little experiment to see, just a tiny experiment to see if this piece can fit onto Beachhead's back. Can you wear the Cloak of Desire? Can you? Can you, Beachhead? Huh? Huh? Can you wear the cloak? Wear the cloak, Beachhead. Wear the cloak. It doesn't seem like the cloak in Beachhead's ports are applicable. Nope, there they go. Nice. Beachhead, your port is just a little too far down though, or a little too far up, because it just doesn't look right. You're goofy wearing this. It's goofy. I don't like it on you. Oh, nuts. Finally knocked that over. I was wondering when that would happen. And give you your backpack back so I don't lose it. There you go. Have your backpack, Beachhead. You do not get a cloak. Knocking things over all the time here at Blind Prime. So that's the cloak. It doesn't really have too many textures on it. It's actually lackluster. The only thing it does have texture-wise is a fold-over, as if the edge of this cloak had a different fabric on it. But that's it. We don't really get too many really nice clothing textures in here. It's just a bunch of folds. So that's a shame. I was hoping that cloak would be better, but oh well. So that's all of Gideon's accessories. Now let's move on to Tarkin's accessory, singular, because he only comes with one, and it's the torture drone. Yes, yes, you try to choke me, Vader. I sent my torture drone for you. The torture drone is on this little pylon so that it floats and hovers. Let's get Tarkin. What did you fall off to, Tarkin? How did you get this distance? Sometimes these characters can get an insane amount of distance. Oh, here we go. Tarkin, showcasing this thing. Now let's lower your arm, Tarkin. We don't need your arm hanging out anymore. We're good. Okay, so putting Tarkin's back to it. This thing floats just below his head level. It floats almost, the top of it is almost at Tarkin's shoulders, and Tarkin isn't the tallest figure. So gives you an idea of the drone itself, and it's got a lot of really great textures, where the Gideon didn't really have that many good textures for its accessory. Since there's only one here, they went all out. You got a little hover area on the underside of it that you can actually put your entire finger into. There's a little port on the side. I don't know why that's there. I think that's just a screw hole, but you could figure something out with it. There's really some nice textures all around of this thing being like, you know, welded together or something. You got little display thing, little arms all over the place. It is a shame that they didn't put all these arms on little ball joints so you could just rotate them around. It would have been easy for them to do, and I have to say that's a missed opportunity. Definitely losing points for that. But the texture work and sculpt work on this torture drone is really, really, really good. And I am really happy to get a new droid. Well, actually, my first 1/12 scale droid. Yay! My first droid is a torture droid. Okay, now let's set the torture droid off to the side. Let's bring out Gideon and Tarkin, and we'll bring out Vader and put him between them. Here's Vader. Yes. Don, don, da 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 da. All right, there we go. So here we go, Vader ruling over his Moffs. And let's put Tarkin first, back to back with Vader. And we get Tarkin being like, oh my god, Tarkin, you are a full head shorter than Vader. Like, Vader, you're all straightened out. Tarkin, you're all straightened out. But wow, that's a size difference. That is an insane size difference. Vader, you're freaking huge, man. Okay. Let's put Tarkin down here so I don't knock him over. I'm going to knock him over anyway, aren't I? Yeah, he's going to fall over anyway. Tarkin. Okay, good. All right. Gideon. Let's compare Gideon to Vader. And the same thing's going on here. Actually, I think, yeah, no, Gideon and Tarkin both they don't even come up to the little hang thing that hangs out the back of Vader's helmet that goes down the back of his neck. Gideon here at the top of his head comes to it. Wow. Shoulder-wise, Vader's shoulders are on a slightly different plane than Gideon's shoulders. That is amazing. And I don't even think I've got Vader straightened out all the way. I think this knee is... Nope, you're straightened out all the way. Cool, wow. Vader, you are a tall guy. You are a big, big Vader. Okay, we're going to set Vader off to the side now, and let's get to the Moff off. Yeah, you've been waiting on the Moff off, but, you know, I wanted to go through all the accessories so we could spend all the time of the rest of this video on the Moffs. Yeah, so here's Moff Tarkin in my right hand, Moff Gideon in my left hand. Now, let's compare them back to back, or, you know, Moff to Moff. Yes, the Moff off. Okay. So, as soon as we start, we get that Moff Tarkin is actually taller than Gideon? No way. No way. No way. Yeah, way. Yeah. Holy crap. I was not expecting that. I love it whenever I learn things like blind reaction style right here on these videos. Wow, Tarkin, you are a tall guy. The shoulders for Tarkin are just slightly above Gideon's, and the top of Gideon's head is a full finger width below the top of Tarkin's head. Let's put them face to face, and let's see where the noses go, huh? Yeah. Let's compare your noses, sirs. Okay. Where does Tarkin's nose end up going? Right at the hairline for Gideon. And where does Gideon's nose end up going? Right at the chin for Tarkin. Whoa. Whoa, guys. Wow. Gideon, you're really short for a Moff. I was not expecting that. Wait. Let's bring in Vader here again. Just to double check this. Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm putting... Yeah, look at that. Sure enough, Tarkin's head goes up further and goes to just the little curve at the back of Vader's helmet. We put them nose to nose. We get that Vader's nose section is actually kind of at the top of Tarkin's head, and Tarkin's nose section ends up right below Vader's chin area. Yeah. Wow. So Vader is almost exactly just as tall to Tarkin as Tarkin is to... Vader, stand. Thank you, Vader. As Tarkin is to Gideon. Okay, now let's get into the actual sculpt work. We're going to cover Tarkin first. Well, actually, no. We'll cover Gideon first because he's the most lackluster. I like Tarkin better. Let's get into Gideon. I know, I just gave that one away. Now, let's talk about Gideon's arms. Now, Gideon's arms here have some good little textures going on for these armbands he's wearing. I think there's some sort of Imperial gloves that he has on, but those are some really fun textures for that. Coming up Gideon's arm, we've got some wrinkles in the fabric. I like these. I wish they had done something like that with his with his cloak if they'd given us some more wrinkles or something. But I guess maybe the cloak is velour, so it's difficult to wrinkle. Or is velour easy to wrinkle? I don't know. I'm not a fabric person. Moving on over here, he's got some little shoulder pauldrons. Though it is a missed opportunity that these shoulder pauldron things aren't connected to some sort of piece that covers his entire top of his head area, because you can rotate his arm 360 degree, and there's a cut in that shoulder pauldron, so it can actually end up in his armpit if you spin his arm up. I think that was an overlook on their case, and that's definitely going to bring Gideon some points down. Because seriously, you couldn't have given us something like we had with Vader here, where he's got these nice like rubberized pauldron things that come up over his arm shoulder. Over his arm shoulder. Oh my god. Anyway, moving over here to Gideon's core area, he's got what feels like some sort of armor, an armored piece. He's got a little abdomen area that you can feel with some nice textures there. But yeah, this feels like maybe it's a piece of stormtrooper armor, and that further even like, wow, there's some really nice textures of straps across his shoulders. And this is just furthering the idea that I really wish these shoulder pauldrons of his that are supposed to be connected to this armor were actually connected to the armor. I know that would have brought down his articulation a little bit, but that would have brought in a little more posability and realism to what he's wearing. But it does feel like he's wearing the core area of a modified stormtrooper armor. Even on the back, it's just smooth and sleek. It feels nice to the touch. I like it. I like how this armor feels on him. And we're coming down here. He's got a skirt on around the armor, more like he's just wearing a very long shirt that he put the armor on top of. They even included some wrinkles around the edges of the belts to showcase that the armor is on top of this really long shirt that he's wearing. Even comes down to a really interesting feeling area around his groin there. That's an interesting pattern. So moving down further, let's pull this up. Let's see if he's got a oh, is that supposed to be like that? Yeah, okay. So there's the little areas, so you can actually fold this up a bit. And let's see, in here feeling, we've got like not really a fly at all in there. So moving on to his legs, we've got some really fun textures on the side of his leg here. Like, I don't know what's up with this, but this is neat. It's actually, oh, it's just really wrinkled pants fabric. And this guy is not a Moff that shows clean uniform upkeep and stuff. Like his legs there are just highly wrinkled on the edges, as if they're supposed to have been poofed out a bit, but he's not wearing the hard accessory in there that would poof his legs out. So he's wearing pants that are supposed to have poofy thighs, but he doesn't have the piece in there to make them poofy. That's why it's all wrinkly. Now moving down here, he's got some good knees to him. His boots go all the way up to the boot cut. I do like that. I love it when they do that. I don't like it whenever they like cut, they do the boot swivel or the foot swivel right in the middle of some muscle area, because it just ruins it for me. And on the back, we've got a lot of wrinkles going on right behind his knee. Really some good texture work with him, and finishing it up on the bottom of the feet, nothing. Okay, so that's Gideon. Gideon's pretty good overall texture-wise. Let's take a look at Tarkin. Now, Tarkin is going to be a different beast, okay? So, ooh, I forgot about Gideon's head. Real quick, we're going to talk about Gideon's head. We've got some interesting feeling hair. Like, I don't know what to say about this hair. Can't really figure it out. So I'm not really going to give him major points on the hair, because the hair's really, his hair sucks. I'll be straight with you. I don't know what's going on with his hair here. It's some weird fabric, like it's some weird textures, but they have the textures, because on the front they didn't even give him the texture that they give him on the side. So I don't know what's going on with his hair. We've got different types of texture. Either that, or he's actually got different types of hair on his head. I don't know. But now I'm not sure about this, but to his hair, is Gideon a black man? Huh. I actually don't know, but it feels like his hair feels like either it's a shorn down soldier's hair, or he's got a close cut hair of the curly hair that black people have. So I don't actually know what race Gideon is. His hair is confusing me. His hair is really confusing me. Let me know in the comments below. What's Gideon's race? Because I don't think audio descriptions ever told me. And it's not, I've never actually thought about it before. Until I'm coming across this hair and I'm feeling it and I'm like, this feels very similar to some of the black G.I. Joe's hair that I have. Either that or the textures are just wrong on this because there's a couple of different textures in this hair. So due to his hair, I am very confused on Gideon. Now, I am a little upset they didn't really give him good eyebrows. Those eyebrows really suck. His eyes are good, though. They did give him some good textured eyes, a good nose, and he's got a nice chin. I think it would have been cool if he'd had a goatee. I always imagined Gideon with a goatee, but there's no goatee here. So that was kind of a shame when I got this, and I was like, oh, Gideon doesn't have a goatee? I always gave him a goatee. Oh, nuts. I kind of had him in my head as looking similar to Jafar. Now let's move over to Tarkin. Okay, so Tarkin's a character I've actually seen before because, you know, I wasn't always blind, and I watched the original Star Wars movies. Even whenever they came back in theaters in the early 90s, my dad took me to them. He was like, oh, they're in the theaters, son. I'm going to show you a treat. And so we went and watched them in the 90s. And that was fun, getting the theater experience of those AT-ATs walking across Hoth. That made Star Wars Episode 5 my favorite movie, was watching those AT-ATs walking around in this wintry landscape in the middle of on the big screen. They were just so huge. Okay, so let's first off discuss a big difference between Tarkin and Gideon right off the bat. We talked about this a minute ago with the pants, and I mentioned that Gideon's pants were weird and that they had a lot of extra fabric. Well, we come over here to Tarkin's pants, and he actually has the piece in them to make the little pants poofy and give him little points in the thigh area. So his pants aren't so wrinkled. They actually have the thing, and I appreciate that. I think that's really cool that Tarkin and Gideon seem to be wearing the same type of pants. It's just that Gideon doesn't have the piece installed that allows for the poofiness to like pop out and then these little points on either side. I wanted to point that out first off. I think that's neat that they actually included that and they've paid attention to that detail. So moving down here, we're gonna talk about his boots, because unlike Gideon's boots, Tarkin's boots are much shinier. They are super shiny boots. Tarkin polishes his boots. Now, difficult thing here with the boots, though, is there is no boot swivel with Tarkin. Tarkin has no ability to move these legs in any direction except the direction that they're facing. So he lost that articulation point, but he did gain a nice little foot articulation point, so you can have Tarkin's foot like off to the side, like he broke it or something. But there is no boot swivel. But then again, Tarkin was not an active person. He did very little. He did very little. So I'm okay with him not having much articulation. He was already an old man. Old men shouldn't have that much articulation. Now, coming over here to his actual cloak top, like his shirt top, this is the part of Tarkin that is just sublime to me as a blind person, okay? Tarkin has got the better textures, straight up. I like the armor texture for Gideon, but Tarkin's cloak here, you know, his uniform shirt is just this, it is such a nice texture. It's hard to describe. It's like they managed to figure out how to put the texture of velvet on rubberized plastic or something. I guess, it's beautiful. It's really, really nice. I like it. I really, really like it. I like Tarkin's shirt and how it's textured. I like the belt here and that there's a little belt buckle. I like that. We come up here, we've got actually, you know, his military insignia, and you can feel every one of those little squares, the red ones and the blue ones. It's so cool. And we move over here to his arms. He doesn't have gloves on, if I recall. So these are actually hands. Let's see if they gave him fingernails. They did give him fingernails. They gave him fingernails. How cool is that? It's so nice to get a good Tarkin. Now moving up here to his neck area, we've got a, he pops his collar up. He doesn't pop it down. He does it Kirk style. And moving into his head, this is where a few of the flaws are. His head is pretty good. Tarkin has that kind of weak chin that just kind of flops down a bit. And he's got a really strong nose, though. And then coming in here to his eyes, we got some texture work going on around the eyes, but it's not as much as I would like it to be. His face sculpt and texture work is really good, though. I like these high cheekbones that he has on his sides. Like, this guy feels like a ruler of the Empire. This is one of the rulers of the Empire. Gideon just feels like somebody who's taken over after the fact. But the Tarkin has had power, and that's what I get from this. Like, Tarkin is nobody to mess with. Gideon has to prove himself. Tarkin just has to walk into a room. Okay, that's how Tarkin proves himself. Now his hair is just slicked back on the top, it feels like, or maybe it's cut. No, it's actually swished back, and then on the sides it's swished back as well. But he's got these little poofs on the sides of his hair. I can't remember if he had like gray streaks in them or not. I don't actually recall what color Tarkin's hair was. Let me know in the comments below what color's Tarkin's hair, because I forgot. Now that is, pardon me, one more thing with Tarkin: nothing on the bottoms of the feet. So let's bring out Gideon again, and let's put them side by side. And once more, going over them, we've got very different Moffs to showcase very different times of the Empire. Gideon showcases the time of the Empire where it's falling. So even though he's wearing the Moff dress shirt underneath this armor, this Moff dress shirt doesn't have the same texture. It feels more worn down. It feels like it hasn't had enough washes, and it sure does not get pressed as often as it should, like Tarkin's gets pressed every time. Like, he is always wearing a clean and pressed uniform, where Gideon seems like he may have actually slept in his uniform a few times, with how it's all, on the back end you get all these wrinkles and stuff, and on the front you get all these wrinkles with his uniform shirt that's under the armor piece. But Tarkin, no wrinkles. Tarkin's uniform is perfectly pristine. And that showcases, like, Gideon is the Empire that's trying to survive against all odds, and Tarkin is the Empire that holds all the power. Now, comparing these two together, I say that Tarkin is the better figure, even though he only comes with one accessory. It's just because of his sculpt work and the textures of him. He is the Tarkin that you want, at least that I know of. Gideon is pretty good for an action figure, and decent for a Moff, showcasing the Empire at that point in time. So I'm going to give Tarkin a grade of a 9 out of 10. I wish that just seems like, actually no. This Tarkin's perfect. I'm going to give the Tarkin a 10 out of 10. Gideon, on the other hand, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I think they could have done a little better with him, in that cloak that isn't soft goods really definitely took some points off. And the fact that the Darksaber doesn't have the right blast effect to plug it into Vader's lightsaber also gave him some points off. Tarkin's accessory is a freaking, is that little black drone that tortured Leia. I think that's really cool, and that's awesome. And now I just need a Leia figure with the cinnamon buns in order to have Darth Vader and the torture drone with Leia. I think that would be fun. But that is all for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's Moff Off video, because I enjoy saying Moff Off, and I enjoy having the ability to conduct a Moff Off, because, I mean, come on, it's a Moff Off. It's just cool. And these figures are both very cool, and they both symbolize different times of the Empire, and I'm very happy with both of these figures. I really hope we get more Moffs, because more Moffs means you can set up kind of like a Jedi Council, but with the Moffs, so you can have the Moff Council. You can have a little council table, and then, Darth Vader sitting at the head of it, and all the Moffs sitting around, and I think that would be just sublime. It's just really fun, and before we go, where's Vader? Let's see, just do one more thing with Vader. We're gonna hold out Vader's hand. There you go. Yes, hold your hand out, Vader. We're gonna send Vader over here. Yes, hold your hand out towards the Moffs. And now, Moffs, all you have to do is be able to articulate grabbing your throat. Can you articulate grabbing your throat? This is the final test for the Moff. Tarkin can't do it. Tarkin can't grab his throat. Oh, Tarkin can't do it at all. What about you, Gideon? Can Gideon grab his throat? Oh. Yes, Gideon can grab his throat. Oh, like, oh, Thanks for watching. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye-bye for now.